Hey guys, how's it going? Zach Garza here, Executive Director of Forerunner Mentoring, here today to talk to you about our safety handbook, this right here. If you weren't able to make it to the training a few Sundays ago, this is a great way to get caught up on that and to make sure that you know everything that you need to know in regards to hanging out with our kids in a safe and positive way. I'm just going to be going through this handbook, so follow along with me, and I'm going to go over all the things that I believe need to be highlighted. This whole thing is very important. I encourage you to read the entire thing all the way through. At the very end, you have a couple of forms to sign. Please fill those out, get those back to us, and then once all that's done, then you can start hanging out with your kiddo. So here we go. I'm going to look down from time to time just so I can focus in on the things that I need to read. So here we go, page 3. This is just an overview of what we do in regards to Forerunner and the ways that we not only protect our kiddos but protect you as well. We go through a sexual abuse training. We use a program called Ministry Safe. You guys should have done that already. If you have not done that, please send us an email and we will get that to you. The second thing is we go through an extensive screening process. You guys go through a background check, not only with us, but with the school district as well. That's very important, just so we are aware of anything that has happened in your past, and we know that you're safe to hang out with our kiddos. The next step 3 on page 4 is this handbook. So it's very important that we go through this, that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. And then fourth is a criminal background check. We just talked about that, but you have to do, application, face-to-face interview, background checks, and things like that. So that's kind of our process. Those are the 4 things that we do. On page 5, we're going to talk about child safety policies. We have a 0 tolerance for abuse. So first and foremost, we are for the kid. So we are going to do everything that we can to make sure that we have a safe environment for our kiddos to thrive in. So if there's anything that comes up, we are going to take it very serious because we are serious about the safety and well-being of our kiddos. Reporting suspicious or inappropriate behavior, there on page 5. Any report of inappropriate behaviors and suspicion will be taken with the utmost of seriousness. We believe that any warning sign, any feeling that you get in your gut that things just aren't right, please tell us. It's important that you report those things to us. When in doubt, contact us. You also need to keep an eye out for other people who will be, they call it grooming a child to be sexually abused. Just be on the lookout for any suspicious behavior, not only by other adults, but also by other mentors and by our staff. That includes me. So just if you ever see anyone who's associated with our program or who's not, just acting in a way that you think is suspicious, please tell us. It's very, very important. If it is us, if it is someone who is in a position of authority, tell someone. We will get you the phone numbers for the proper authorities further on in this process. Page 5. If you violate any of these policies, if we think that you are doing anything suspicious with a kid, that is grounds for termination, whether it be staff or termination of being a volunteer with us. We take that stuff very serious. On page 6, we're going to go down to the middle of the page. Volunteers who fail to report a prohibited act may be restricted from participating in our program. Guys, it's very important that you report something if you see it. Any staff member or volunteer must report suspicious acts to the appropriate Texas authorities. That is on you. It is actually against the law if you see something and do not report it. We will talk about that further on here in this segment. Page 7, we're going to talk about physical abuse. Physical abuse is physical injury that results in substantial harm to the child. That may look like frequent injuries such as burns, cuts, black eyes, fractures, lacerations, anything like that, burns or bruises in an unusual pattern, lack of reaction to pain, injuries that appear after the child has not been at school or with us in a few days, injuries that appear on the back of the hands, the buttocks, the abdomen, the back, frequent complaints of pain without obvious injury, aggressive, disruptive, destructive behavior, passive, withdrawn, emotionless behavior, fear of going home or seeing parents. These are all things that we have experienced in our program. It's very important that we all know the signs to look for when it comes to physical abuse. Sexual abuse is sexual conduct harmful to a child's mental, emotional, or physical welfare, including conduct that constitutes the offense of indecency with a child, sexual assault, or aggravated sexual assault. This is a big deal, obviously, and some of the signs and symptoms: torn, stained, or bloody underclothing, pain, swelling, and itching, bruising, bleeding in the genital area, difficulty walking or sitting, physical signs of STDs, inappropriate sex play, or premature understanding of sex, sexually suggestive, inappropriate, or promiscuous behaviors, feeling threatened by physical contact or closeness, extreme fear of being alone with adults, particularly of a certain gender, and just a major change in their mood or their behavior. That is some signs to look for when it comes to sexual abuse. Mental abuse, inflicting mental or emotional injury to a child. Signs and symptoms include speech disorders, delayed physical developments, ulcers, asthma, substance abuse, habit disorders such as sucking their thumb or doing anything like that that is just a constant habit. Antisocial or destructive behavior, sleep disorders, passive and aggressive behaviors, developmental displays. Those are just some signs of mental abuse. The last one is neglect, the leaving of a child in a situation where the child would be exposed to a substantial risk of physical or mental harm without arranging for necessary care for that child, and the demonstration of an intent not to return by parent or guardian of the child. We have seen this multiple times in our program, and it's very, very unfortunate. Inadequate nutrition that can lead to stealing or begging for food, lack of personal cleanliness, torn or dirty clothes, unattended medical needs, inattention for long periods of time and constant lack of supervision, frequent abuse or tardiness from school. That's a fairly common sign if a child is suffering from neglect. Regularly displays fatigue or listlessness or falls asleep in class or program. Extreme loneliness and need for attention. So those are kind of the four main areas of abuse that we need to know the signs of so we can keep an eye out for our kiddos. Page 9, failure to report an abuse is a crime. So this is on you guys. If you see something, you must report it. When in doubt, report. The phone numbers are right there on page 9 for Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, or CPS. Anti-retaliation. If you do make that report, then we will not retaliate against you. Please do this within 48 hours. It's very important to do it as soon as possible, but for sure within 48 hours. On page 10, going to the restroom with children. This shouldn't be an issue because kids enter into our program past the age of potty training, but if it becomes an issue, just don't do it. Just don't go to the bathroom with a child. So if there is an issue where a child needs to go to the restroom, then find a school worker or be sure to keep the door open or go in there with someone else. Sleeping arrangements, we will have a camp out. We do things like that. There will be a staff member on all of those, but just make sure that you are acting in a way that is above reproach in regards to that. We do not sleep on a 1-to-1 ratio with child and adult at any time. We one person to one bag or one person to one blanket. That's how we do it. Wear appropriate clothing while sleeping. You guys can read more about that on page 10. Page 11, when it comes to meds, just don't do it. Just don't give our kids meds of any kind. If our child is sick and, it is up to us to take care of them, contact their parents, contact mom. If they become seriously ill or things like that, call 911. Better to be safe than sorry. Gifts, don't do it. Just don't give our kiddos gifts. We have seen this multiple times, and it just, more times than not, leads to just a really negative situation. It's okay to take them places. We are all for experiences. So if it's a birthday party or if a kid did well on a test or things like that, we encourage you not to give them a gift, but instead take them somewhere. A kid is going to remember the time that you took them to a ball game or remember the time that you took them to Six Flags much more than they will if you gave them, a pack of baseball cards. Intoxicants, tobacco, and being nude, we don't want to participate in any of that stuff. Even if it's a joke or anything like that, we do not joke around in that way. We take that stuff very, very seriously. On page 12, one-on-one interaction with the kiddos. We recognize that meeting our objectives may occasionally require that staff members and volunteer interact with children on an individual basis. When doing that, guys, we just say, be extremely careful, be very smart, avoid it if possible. If you can bring someone else along, if you can bring your wife along or your kids along or a friend along or the sibling of the kid that you mentor, or a friend or their mother, anything like that, it's always good to have someone else with you. Not only for the child's protection, but also for our protection as well. Especially elementary aged kiddos. Err on the side of caution. When in doubt, contact us if anything happens that you would deem to be odd or awkward. Anything that is out of the norm. Whenever you are with a child one-on-one, be very smart about it. Don't be in a room with the door shut. Avoid taking children to the restroom. Don't be alone in isolated areas. When possible, travel with someone else. Physical contact and affection should be appropriate to the child's age. Inappropriate touching and inappropriate displays of affection are forbidden. No mentor should have mentored a child in an overnight context. Parental approval is always required. Always talk to mom first. Page 13, we're talking about transportation, which we will talk about further on in here. But you may transport your child. When doing so, always have mom's permission. Always transport directly to the destination. Avoid physical contact while in the car. No cell phones while driving. Children should not use your car to learn how to drive or do anything like that. And staff members and everyone who drives must be 21. You can read more about that at the back of your packet. That's on page 13. Page 14, guys, just contact mom, engage mom. The more that mom is in the know, the better. The more mom is engaged, the better. We are not here to take the place of a parent. We are here to come alongside mom and support her in her quest to take this boy and turn him into a godly man. Physical contact at the bottom of page 14. We want to promote a positive, nurturing environment while protecting children in regards to physical contact. Hugging, pats on the back, and other forms of appropriate physical affection between staff members, volunteers, and children are important for the child's development. We know that there are some kids out there that need physical touch. They need affection. It's up to us to provide that in a positive and safe way, in a positive and safe environment. It should be appropriate to the child's age. Physical contact should only be given in the presence of other people, in the presence of other children, in the presence of our program. That's why we encourage our mentors to come to our after-school programs and spend time with the kid, because it's a safe environment. You have lots of other people around who are watching you interact with this child. Do not force physical contact or anything like that at any time. If a child does not like to be hugged, if a child does not want to be touched, that is up to them, and we need to respect them and their choices. On page 15, release of children. You cannot pick up your child from the program. Only mom can do that. Sexually oriented conversations. We do understand that there might come a time whenever your Forerunner wants to talk to you about sex. When that does come up, please talk to us before you engage in that conversation. We want to engage mom in that. We want to do that in a way that is respectful of her and how she wants to parent, and we just want to do that in the best possible manner. So please, if a child starts asking you questions about sex, it's okay to say, hey, let me talk to some people and figure out the best way how to have this conversation before we continue on. And then come and talk to us. We can talk to mom together, and we can finish up that conversation. Possession of sexually oriented materials. Our children should never see pictures or pictures of sexually oriented content on phones or on magazines or movies or anything like that. That's just not allowed. Verbal interactions. We want every verbal interaction with the child and with the mentor to be positive, to be uplifting. Bottom of page 15, if you begin to date someone involved in Forerunner, whether that be a mom or a staff member or anything like that, please just tell us. We are going to go on to the driving and automobile policy and questionnaire on page 18 and 19. If you choose to transport your child in your automobile, it is your responsibility. If there is something that happens, if you guys get into a wreck, that is on you. So please read that. We want you to wear seatbelts. If you're going on a long drive, please take breaks. If you're involved in an accident, please tell us immediately. Please provide us your driving record. Please drive in a safe way. We encourage you to maintain minimum insurance limits of 50, 150. That's 50 person, 100 accident, and 50 physical damage. We ask that you let your insurance company know just that you're involved with us and that from time to time you will be transporting a mentee. And then just fill out the bottom of 19 and return it to us. That is if you do wish to drive your Forerunner or if you do not wish to. And then page 21, that is just saying that you read all this, that you understand all of this, that you take this stuff very seriously, that it's for not only the child's safety but for your safety as well. Please sign those two things and get them back to us. So that is all we got, guys. We encourage y'all to download the app. If you guys have not done that, you can find it at the App Store under Forerunner Mentoring Program. You can find our safety policy there as well. If you've got any questions or anything like that, please let us know. We take this stuff very seriously. Like I've said, everything that I have not covered on here, that doesn't mean that it is not important. Please read this during your own time. Please ask us questions. We're here for you. So thank you so much for volunteering with us. Thank you so much for serving our kiddos through our program. We're very grateful for you. You can reach me at zach@forerunnermentoring.com. That's ZACH. And just know that above all else, our job is to be here for you. So thank y'all so much. Sure do appreciate you.